This is Taipei. If you're finding it hard to believe, don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, when I first saw pictures of this place online, it took me a while before I realized it was located in the Taiwanese capital. But this is Qingtiangang Grassland. Pardon my awful pronunciation. Perched about 800 meters above sea level in Yangmingshan National Park, fostering sweeping views of the surrounding mountains and Taipei City in the distance. Perfect for casual walkers, reluctant hikers, and people who pack cute outfits instead of trekking gear for that slightly leaning on the fence poses. This is just one of the most Instagrammable spots in Taipei that are also trending and making waves on social media. And in this video, we'll share with you 9 more. Hey there, Tipiter, we are Vince and Josh. We have just wrapped up another trip to Taipei. Yes, not even a year after our last one because we just felt like there was still a lot about the city that we had not explored yet. In this episode, we're listing out the most IG-worthy attractions, the trendiest spots that are a hit among locals and tourists alike, or both. Note that this is not in any particular order. The numbers are just there for easier reference, okay? Let's continue with number 2, Datun Falls. This is still part of the Yangmingshan National Park. To be honest with you, our intended destination here was the Yangmingshan Flower Clock, a giant clock artwork in the garden by the western entrance. However, there's another picturesque site not too far away. Enter Datun Falls, a multi-tiered waterfall tucked into Yangmingshan's back trails. To get here, you'll have to walk for 10 minutes, and along the way, you'll see this platform which is a great lookout too. The city looks marvelous from here. Then after that, you'll stroll through this enchanting mossy arcade that will make you feel like you're stepping into another world. It's not a single waterfall but a charming series of cascades, each tumbling over boulders. It looks best in the rainy season, but since it was peak summer when we visited, it wasn't as splashy as usual, but still so photogenic, especially this arch bridge straddling it. And you can also use this bridge as your vantage point for shots with the falls in the backdrop. You can reach Datun Falls via public transport. Just make your way to Yangmingshan Bus Terminal and then catch bus S8 or S9 to Huashan Road Sec 2 and then walk from there. It's gonna take 10 minutes, but there's plenty of signs along the way so you won't get lost. If the first 2 items on this list can be described as vibey and moody, Bamboo Lake is the total opposite. It's an explosion of color, flower power at its most Instagrammable. Tucked into a volcanic valley, this former lava-formed lake is now a lush field occupied by independently run gardens. From March to May, white calla lilies dominate the scene. Then from May to June, violet hydrangeas and orange daylilies paint the valley in brighter hues. We visited in July and it was mostly hydrangeas. Here at Liangqian Garden, you can follow a path in between the flowers and just find a spot for your photos. Entrance fee is usually 100 Taiwan dollars per garden. But if you want a proper meal, head over to nearby Xinzhongshan Wild Herb Restaurant, which serves mostly Taiwanese favorites including Hakka stir-fry, pineapple shrimp balls, stir-fried whitewater snowflake stems, and mapo tofu. To get here, make your way to Yangmingshan Bus Terminal and catch bus S8 or S9. Travel time is 40 to 60 minutes. If you're looking for something within the city center, look no further than the Taipei Botanical Garden. It's so green and tranquil inside that it will be hard to believe you haven't left the bustling city. Yet, here we are, surrounded by nature right smack in the heart of Taipei. This 8-hectare oasis now hosts over 2,000 plants scattered along well-marked paths and wooden boardwalks through 17 themed zones, usually by plant type. There's also a Buddhism garden. But to me, the main attractions here are its lotus ponds, which lie just next to the National Museum of History. On the other end of the park stands the guest house for the Imperial Envoy, which is a historical landmark. Unfortunately, it was temporarily closed when we visited, so we could only admire its beautifully painted gates for now. And in case you need a drink, you'll be glad to know that just outside the garden are a couple of good coffee shops, Caloso Coffee Roasters and FF Coffee Holic. We'll discuss these in more detail in our Where to Eat in Taipei video, which is coming up next. Anyway, to get to the Botanical Garden, take the MRT to Xiaonanmen Station, use exit 3 and then walk for 10 minutes. There is no entrance fee. Number 5, Dihua Street. This is said to be Taipei's oldest street dating back to the 1850s. This wasn't our first time here. We'd been here just a couple of years ago, but this was our first time exploring it in style. And by style, I mean this traditional attire which you can rent from the Dadaocheng Visitor Center. Actually, rent may not be the right word because it's totally free of charge. There is a 1,000 Taiwan dollar deposit for the garments, but it is completely refundable as long as you return it without damage. You can choose from their wide selection of attires, and you can also get an accessory, which can be a bag, a pipe, or a hat. And while in your period drama era, explore the historic street, which is flanked by shop houses selling traditional medicine, tea, herbs, fabric, and more. It has always been like this for centuries. But today, you'll also find more modern cafes and milk tea stalls. One of the largest buildings here is this, which houses the Yongle Market. Built in 1896, this kaleidoscope of textiles spans multiple floors, filled with silk, satin, lace, and tailor services. The street-level wet market is where you'll find freshest produce, herbal teas, and snacks too. On the 8th floor of the same building, you'll find Dadaocheng Theater, a branch of the Taipei Cultural Center. This is a great venue for performances, and even to this day, you can catch traditional puppet plays here. There's also a mini museum showcasing the various types of puppets and the history of puppetry in Taipei. Then, just down the street is the small but extremely popular Shanghai City God Temple, completed in 1859 in honor of the city god who ensures local peace and prosperity. Today, many visitors, especially tourists, come here to pray for a happy love life. So whether you're hunting delicate fabric rolls, seeking divine romantic luck, or slipping into vintage threads for a retro shoot, Dihua Street is the place for you with layers of culture, color, and charisma. Number 6, Dadaocheng Wharf. Depending on which part of Dihua Street you're coming from, walk for 5 to 10 minutes westward and you'll eventually find Dadaocheng Wharf Plaza. From its origins as a bustling trade pier on the Tamsui River to its 21st century renaissance as a riverside hangout, it mixes history with modern fun. The murals on its super lengthy wall are top-notch, depicting various scenes of Taipei. You can even bike alongside it. U-bike stations and bike rental shops are available, offering an easy way to explore the 18-kilometer riverside cycling route toward Guandu or back toward the city. Bike rental costs 80 NTD per hour, but U-bike is much cheaper. By the way, Guandu is another underrated attraction in the city. We discussed it in one of our previous videos, so check it out. If biking isn't your thing, how about a boat cruise? Here, you can hop on a Sunset River cruise heading upriver toward Tamsui and beyond. A ride offers a scenic drifting shot of iconic bridges and lush riverside parks and of course, Taipei's skyline, which is magnificent at sunset. Yes, you can even spot Taipei 101 from here, and it's surprisingly affordable too at only 300 NTD for an hour-long cruise. It's best to visit in late afternoon or evening when the wharf really comes to life, especially at the Pier 5 Container Food Park, where you'll find dozens of stalls pumping out craft beer, boba, burgers, seafood, Thai, Korean, Italian, all that jazz. Grab a table seat, let the river breeze flow, and snap those casual food shots as city lights glimmer across the river. Number 7, Huashan 1914 Creative Park. Once a winery turned art lovers' playground, Huashan 1914 Creative Park is Taipei's ultimate blend of industrial charm, indie creativity, and pop culture chic. Wandering in between its weathered brick warehouses and green lawns, you'll find everything from laid-back cafes and indie cinemas to spontaneous performances, an endless scroll of photo ops waiting to happen. And it changes a lot. Last year, when we visited for the first time, there was a completely different set of pop-up stores and attractions. This time around, Doraemon was dominating the site. There was an ongoing 100% Doraemon and Friends exhibition and a gigantic 12-meter inflatable Doraemon attracting kids and kids at heart alike. Next door, a whimsical Tomica toy car pop-up revved up nostalgia with mini streets and model display zones. Our new friend Andrea also brought us to Legacy, the park's signature music venue inside one of the warehouses. She said it mostly showcases homegrown indie rock bands and performers. Just a stone's throw away is Sintren Creative Park, Taipei's go-to gadget mall packed with tech stalls selling phones, tablets, cameras, drones, and even home appliances. And when you need a caffeine recharge, Simple Cafe Huashan flagship is close by. Again, we'll be discussing this more in our next video. Number 8, Xinzhongshan Linear Park and Chifeng Street. Another site that we made sure to return to this trip is this linear park. On the surface, it's adorned with sculptural benches, floating walkways, and seasonal blooms, but underneath, it's a whole new world. Welcome to Zhongshan Underground Book Street, a hidden treasure trove of literary finds, mostly in Chinese, but you'll also find books in English. Then right across is the S-Lite Underground Music Store, which is a paradise for music lovers looking for specific records. There are vinyls, CDs, DVDs, and others, ranging from contemporary pop acts like Taylor Swift and Chappell Roan to legends like Michael Jackson and David Bowie. There's Milli Vanilli too if you're interested. A few steps off the path lies this street, once the town's auto parts alley but has reinvented itself as a hipster sanctuary of vintage boutiques and indie cafes. Andrea highly recommended her favorite shop here called Par Store, which sells garments, accessories, and music records. We also visited Mitty, which sells pre-loved vintage clothes. But the real reason we came back here was the food. One of the most iconic here is Ximending, which serves bowl after bowl of piping hot miswa or rice flour noodles and master spicy noodle Zhongshan restaurant, famous for its, you guessed it, spicy noodles. But they serve a mean beef soup too. Also within the area is the highly underrated Kiao Tong, which is Taipei's Little Tokyo as it is lined with Japanese restaurants, ramen bars, izakayas, and even kawaii culture and trinket shops like this, Gacha Hunter, with wall-to-wall gachapon or capsule vending machines and blind box collectibles on display. Much of this area is sandwiched by the MRT Junction and Shuanglian stations, so depending on your target attraction, either could do. Number 9, Ximending. This list won't be complete without the OG IG paradise, Ximending. I mean, I can't think of any other free site that attracts more social media natives than the Rainbow 6 crosswalk right by the entrance to Ximen Walker. And it's not difficult to understand why. Think Harajuku with a Taiwanese twist. It's loud, it's crowded, it's chaotic, but it's a vibe. The pedestrian zone is packed with fashion shops, sneaker stores, street food, and more selfie backdrops than your phone can handle. Yes, it's gotten so touristy these days, but it's trendy for a reason. This is where local teens still hang out, artists perform, cosplayers gather, and subcultures thrive in full Technicolor. But that's not to say there are no quiet corners. Just walk a bit further and you'll find Taipei Cinema Park, a chill spot with street art covered walls, outdoor installations, and an open space where skaters, dancers, and low-key photographers hang out. It's way less crowded than the main square and gives off, indie cool energy. There are lots of food spots too. Of course, the closest MRT station to Ximending is Ximen Station. Number 10, Taipei 101 and Xinyi District. You can't visit Taipei and not see Taipei 101. This 508-meter bamboo-inspired mega skyscraper once held the title of the tallest building in the world, and it's still the undisputed icon of the city. Whether you want to take photos of it or take photos from it, Taipei 101 is going to be involved in your camera roll one way or another. Inside, 101's lower floors are decked out with luxury brands, art installations, and one of the world's fastest elevators that will shoot you to the top in just 37 seconds. I remember my very first time climbing to the 89th floor observatory more than a decade ago. It was mostly the view and the tuned mass damper, the 660-ton golden ball which holds the building together in shaky times. But these days, the observation deck is also bursting with installations and photo spots, and it changes every time I visit. Outside, cross the road to Xinyi Shopping District, which is a complex of malls bursting at the seams with all sorts of shops and restaurants. This pedestrian-friendly zone is lined with gleaming malls like ATT for Fun, Breeze, Shinkong Mitsukoshi, S-Light Spectrum, and others, where you can shop, dine, and strut. And oh, the Apple store at Xinyi A13 is also just around the corner. That's 2 stories of minimalist shop with floor-to-ceiling glass walls, floating staircases, and those crisp, clean displays that make you want to splurge. By the way, Taipei is a bona fide shopping destination. It's not just the number of malls or the diversity of the shops, but also the competitive prices. We always find that the costs here, be it perfumes, luxury items, or even the usual chains, are much lower than in most other countries. And I almost forgot, don't leave without getting that mandatory, quote-unquote, mandatory, low-angle shot of Taipei 101. In our next video, we'll be sharing with you some of the best eats we had on our most recent trips to Taipei. So watch out for that and subscribe to this channel so you won't miss it. Remember, plan smart, travel safe, and make every trip worth it.